So, so I'm about 3 years old, and my mom and dad are having a dinner party. My brother Derek, he's a little older than me, he and I are doing hot laps around the place. We're kind of those folks at a dinner party, the little kids, they think they're entertaining to the guests, but really they're just annoying to the guests. And we get to that moment in the evening where my dad bellows from the party room to us, "Boys, if you're not in your beds with the lights off in 2 minutes, there will be trouble." To which we reply with more hot laps. Moments later, the inevitable happens. We hear the creaking floorboards. We hear the wooden palm and wood hitting each other. And a moment later, we are convinced we're in trouble. We immediately make eye contact with each other. We don't say a word. And we split in either directions, which I know you're already thinking, very advanced thinking for a 3-year-old. I agree. I turn around, cut right, burn up the stairs, cut right again, flick the switch, dive for the cool side of the pillow, and I'm giggling underneath the sheets while I'm listening to my brother get spanked. Oh, it gets better. And all I can think of is how unintelligent my older brother is. You see, I cut right, he cuts left, and here's the thing, just don't cut left. And he runs right into my dad. And I'm sitting here under the sheets giggling, thinking, I got away scot-free. Except I didn't. You see, the next day on his way to work, my dad was killed in a car accident. And to an adult mind, this won't make a lot of sense to you, but to a 3-year-old's mind, there's false correlations that can happen. And in my situation, for many, many years, I was under the belief that my dad left, that my dad died, because I didn't go to bed on time. Add to that, I found out years later, not only did my dad die when I was 3, but my dad's dad died when my dad was 3. So I was a part of this legacy of death. Now, good news, I have 4 kids. My youngest is 7. But this still left me with a dilemma. How does a guy who doesn't have a dad for most of his life, whose dad didn't have a dad for most of his life, figure out how to be a dad? Fast forward 2 decades. I'm just graduating from Biola. My best friend is gonna go nameless because he's now a professor at this fine institution, and he decides to throw me a bachelor party because I'm about to get married. And he's gonna stay nameless because I wanna make sure he doesn't get in any trouble. So we decide that, he decides, him and a bunch of my buddies are gonna throw this party, and the revelry happens, that part is edited out. We're gonna go straight to the serious part of the evening when he turns to me and says, okay, you need to go upstairs and put on this uniform. I'm at this guy's house, there's about 15 of us, they know me pretty well. I'm like, okay. I look at the uniform, it's a white t-shirt and a white pair of boxer shorts. And I'm thinking it's weird too, you're not alone, okay? So I go upstairs, I put this on, and I come down, and the guys are all somber, and they ask me to come to the center of the room, and again, about 15 of them. I stand in the middle, and they're all standing around me, and they start telling me what my mom and dad might have said to me when I was first born. Things like, he's so precious, and he's so full of potential, and he's strong. And then they started handing me artifacts, like literally physical eggs to symbolize innocence, and a physical sword to symbolize my strength. And then they held me up above their heads like I'm at a rock concert and took me outside. I remember it was freaking freezing. And we go outside, and I'm in boxer shorts. And they put me down, and it was just this amazing experience. And then they started asking me questions. They said, well, what happened next? What happened next? And I was a little evasive. I didn't know where they were going, and I just kept saying, I don't remember. It's a long time ago. And they said, we think you remember. What happened next? And then I said, well, I think that's when my dad died. And what I didn't know was there was 2 of my buddies who actually snuck behind me when I wasn't looking, and they had picked up a 5-gallon bucket of ice water that they had stored ahead of time. And the moment I said the words, I think that's when my dad died, they pounded me from behind with the ice water. And I was immediately brought back to my 3-year-old reality, undone. They crushed the eggs on my chest, they poured ash on my head, they ripped the sword out of my hand, and they put me in a position where I had to answer one single question. One question. I needed to go find my father. So, long story short, because I've run out of time already, this is hard, you guys. Last story, very short. About 3 years ago, I'm at this training, the spiritual retreat thing, and the facilitator of the training says, I want you to imagine your dad is in the room and talk to your dad out loud what you wish you would have this person say to you. And everyone in the room actually had a dad who was alive, so it was easy for them, but I went for it anyways. And I found myself saying things like, Dad, I just want you to tell me that it's gonna be okay. I want you to tell me that you love me. I want you to tell me that you're with me. And then, no kidding, you're not gonna believe it, I actually heard God speak. And what God said to me in real words, and I know it was him because it was so darn clever, he says to me, you are going to hear the words that you crave in your heart, and you're gonna be surprised where they come from because they're gonna come out of your own mouth to your own children. Because in my world, all of a sudden, in an instant, the word with became the kind of word that will never leave me. The kind of word that will never leave me. Thank you.
Biola University offers a variety of biblically centered degree programs, ranging from business to ministry to the arts and sciences. Visit biola.edu to find out how Biola could make a difference in your life.